Okay, let's continue with our Chapter 2 review. We're on page 98 now, and we're doing problem number 4. So it says, for numbers 4a through 4d, select true or false for each question. So 4a, for example, says 7 times 194 equals 1,338. If that's true and those are equal, then I'll bubble in true. If it's false, I'll bubble in false. So we have to do each one of these multiplication problems to solve each one of these true-false questions. So we're going to start with 194 times 7. 194 times 7. Okay. Again, I could break this up into expanded form and do 100 plus 90 plus 4, and then times all of those by 7. And then add all of those answers together. But I'm going to try this one using regrouping. So I'm going to do 7 times the 4, just like I would here. 7 times 4 is 28. So I'm going to put the 8 in the ones place, and it's 28. So the 2 actually go in the tens place, and we're going to add that. Okay, and then I do 7 times 9. And remember, if you get stuck on a multiplication fact that you don't know, you can break up this 7 into 5 and 2, for example, and do 9 times 5 and then 9 times 2 and add those answers as well. Okay, but I know my 9s and my 7s, so 9 times 7 is 63, plus 2 is 65, so the 5 goes here, that's 65 tens, or 650, so the 5 goes in the tens place, and the 6 will go in the hundreds place, and I'm going to add that. Okay, and then I do my 7 times the 1. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 6 is 13. So we see my answer is 1,358, and they said it was going to equal 1,338, so this one's going to be false. So I'm going to bubble in false, and I'm going to erase my work because, again, I don't have as much space and I don't have any scratch paper like you guys do. So I'm going to go ahead and erase what I have so I can start on 4b. Okay, so now 5 times 5,126 equals 25,630. So let's take a look. Let's test that. So I have 5,126 times 5. Okay, again, I could break this apart and do expanded form and do 5,000 times 5, 100 times 5, 20 times 5, and 6 times 5, and then add those partial products up. But on this one, again, I'm going to do it by regrouping. So 5 times 6 is 30. Carry my 3. I'm going to add that. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. I'm going to add that. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 more is 6. And then 5 times 5 is 25. So 25,630, yep, they match. So this one's going to be true. Okay. Now, I'll go ahead and let you finish 4C and 4D on your own. So you can go ahead and pause the video if you like and work out 4C and 4D on your own, but you're going to do it the same way that you did 4A and 4B, or that we did it. Okay, let's go on to part A for question number 5. So this one says, draw a line to match each section in the model to the partial product it represents. Okay, so here we have 3, and we're showing 3 times 100. We're showing 3 times 40, and we're showing the 3 times the 6. So again, this is using the distributive property. So 3 times 100, that's this section here, and I notice it says 3 times 100 here, so these two match up. Okay. This one, the next section here is 40 times 3. So there's my 3 times 40 right there. So I match those two up. And then lastly, 3 times the 6. There's my 3 times 6. So these sections are going to match up just like that. Okay? Now, part B says, okay, now that you've broken it up into expanded form, find the answer to this problem. So I can just use, they've already kind of shown their work here. I'm going to use those exact problems. So I'm going to use 3 times 6. I'm going to use 3 times 100. And I'm going to use 3 times 40. Okay, 3 times 6, that's 6 plus 6 plus 6. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus another 6 would be 18. 3 times 100, that's pretty easy because I can do 3 times 1, which is 3, and then add my 2 zeros to make 300. It's kind of a sloppy 300, but it's 300. And then 3 times 40, pretty easy as well. I can do 3 times 4, which is 12, and then add my 0. My 0 placeholder right there. And so I have 18, 300, and 120. So there's my 300, there's my 120, and there's my 18 from the problem in part A. And now I just need to take these numbers and add them up. So I'm going to do 300, 120, and 18. I'm going to add those. Now make sure you line up your numbers, okay? We talked about that. Go nice and slow. Line up your numbers so you're adding the ones all together. So we have the ones place, we have 8. We have 2 and a 1 in the tens place. 2 plus 1 is 3. And we have a 3 and a 1 in the hundreds place. 3 plus 1 is 4. So my answer is 438. Show your work and explain. Well, I've shown all my work. To explain, I can come down here and say I added the 3 partial products. And remember, partial has that root word of part. Each one of these are a part of the answer. Excuse me. That's why they're partial products. So this is part of the answer, this is part of the answer, and this is part of the answer. And when I add them all together, I get my final total answer. So how did I solve this? I showed all my work, and then in words I explained that I added the 3 partial products. Okay. All right. Go ahead and erase and go on to the next page.